All right. Got multiple streams happening here, guys. My YouTube, my Instagram. Gotta talk to both you guys at once. And man, my belt needs some dusting. What we're focusing on today is the fact that after an enormous amount of time, how long have I been running my channel for now? Oh, geez. Started in 2019, didn't really pick it up, my YouTube channel, until about 2021, sort of the pandemic. I'm like, oh, I'm going to put some effort into it. And I want to talk about the fact that I finally got around to starting my very first course, which I'm so excited about because I give you guys, I know, lots of information on the channel, but I kind of do what I want. Wake up, my camera's right behind me there, and I go, what do I want to talk about today? And I just kind of do it. There's no real rhyme or reason. It's just what I'm feeling there. And the defense course is going to be something where I put a lot of effort into thinking out, going, here's exactly what we should do. And it's going to be basically, how do you go about winning something like this? I'm not saying I expect everybody who has this defense course to be able to have world class defense, but it'll definitely help you improve. So, we're going to be talking about things like with a small glove, how do you change up your defense? What happens with this versus this? There's a big difference. We're going to talk about how so many people I work with. I was doing something with somebody the other day, and he was showing me his Dutch guard and how he holds the thumb to his forehead. I'm going, man, I've been training for a while. I think somebody would have taught you that there's downsides to that. So I'm going to take you guys quickly through the layout of the course that I have designed. And I want this course to be so good that at the end of it, when we have, let me see here, we have 5 sections so far. Defense basics. Then we move on the next week to why you're still scared. Even though you understand the defense basics, why are you still scared? And then from there, we move on to building defense confidence. How do you do that? Aside from just standing there and blocking the same technique over and over and hoping that somehow it clicks. There are strategies. And then how to use defense to increase aggression. Because defense can't just be, oh, okay, I know how to block. It needs to give you that confidence to go forward. And when you go forward, not get KO'd. And then from there, we move on. What drills have I used throughout the years to master defense? What gives me the confidence to step in against guys like those people that I had to fight to win those belts? Somebody like this, like Mosab Amrani, who KO'd Liam Harrison. That's a scary fight to take after somebody KOs Liam. How do you walk into the ring and have the confidence to go, he's not going to annihilate me? It comes down to defense. So what drills do I use? I'm going to share those. And I want this course to be so good that I have actually added another section to it, which I just went the other day. I'm like, some stuff is missing. I need to add more. So I contacted my team. I said, guys, last minute change. We're going to add something called alternative defense, where we're going to focus on the long guard. Then we're going to have a chapter on the Philly shell, like Dustin Poirier has been using with his elbow blocking. Then we're going to do MMA gloves, Russian catching. How do you catch shots from the outside with the forearms? And obviously the Dutch guard. And I was just thinking this morning, I'm like, man, if I finish this course and I miss something, I actually want to add another section after the fact, just so people can say, oh, Gabriel, you didn't touch on this, instead of being like, oh, yeah, I missed out. I missed something. I didn't deliver everything I could. I want to cover every possible aspect. And I think it's going to be a course that everybody will really love. It starts tomorrow morning, the course gets underway. Section 1 is released, where we focus on how to block and parry punches correctly, how to block catch evade kicks correctly, how to block and deal with knees. We add in slipping, 10 common defense errors, which everybody pretty makes unless you're high level, that you need to avoid, and then some practicing everything with some virtual defense training so you can actually take it and go, okay, I've learned the techniques, but can I actually remember how to execute? So that's just tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we move to our first live call where you guys can bring your questions. Like I said, defense is so important. I preach it on the channel. I preached it before we got to this point where I was actually going, oh, I have something available for you guys to join. I've always said defense is key. And when you stop and you think about a lot of gyms, for instance, my brother trained at Atlas Boxing in Ontario. hard to argue with the success that they have had. They had Lennox Lewis, who won his gold medal through that gym. They have pretty much a high percentage of the boxing guys in Canada who go to the Olympics. A lot of them come out of that gym. They're doing things pretty darn well, no doubt. But my brother is there, and he's like, Gabriel, I want to come back and train with you for a couple of weeks because my defense isn't on point, because they don't work defense. It's all bag work or pad work or sparring, but they're not getting those defensive drills in. And at least in my experience, defense is going to up your game so much, but not if you're not being taught it, or you're not being taught it correctly, or you don't know what drills to do. You don't know how to train it when you're solo, right? You don't always have somebody around. How do you train defense without somebody in front of you? There are ways. There are ways. So anybody who's interested, I have a link for the guys on Instagram. I have a link for you in my bio. Everybody on YouTube, there is a link in the description there. And once the doors close, and there's a reason for this, I'll explain in a second, but once the doors close tonight on the course, you can't get in. It's going to be the next 5 weeks where I'm going to be helping everybody, assisting them with the live calls. People are going to be having the sections, the videos dropped into their inbox every Monday morning. There's going to be another 5 or 6 that are dropped in, give you time to go through before we do the live call. We are closing the doors tonight, not allowing anybody else to be a part of it, because it doesn't make sense to have somebody come in on the 3rd week and then when we get to the live calls asking questions from the 1st week. Right? It's going to throw off what everybody else who's joined on time has been learning and the flow of the whole course. So I will be getting, I know I will be, because I've had a lot of people that have reached out, a lot of people who have joined, and there's going to be some people who tomorrow morning are going to be messaging me going, "Oh, Gabriel, can I get entered? Can I join after the fact?" I know it's going to happen throughout the whole thing, but if you guys are wanting to be a part of this course, just do me a favor and just jump on it right now. Jump on it today, right? It's going to be something that's special. The very first thing that my team told me, that these great guys in town that I'm working with on getting this whole course put together, the reason I didn't get it done in the past for you guys, because people have been asking me, Gabriel, when can we get something from you? When can we help support your channel? When are you going to offer something where we can give you some financial kickback? I was like, no, I'll get there. So I needed a team to help me, because it's just too much to do by myself. Right? I can deliver the YouTube content for you guys, but just anything else on top of training. By the way, I start a fight camp tomorrow morning, so I have a lot happening in my personal life as well. So between all of that, I needed a team. The first thing my team manager said when I told him I wanted to do a defense course, he didn't actually tell me this. He was very polite. He said, "Oh, okay." But he told me recently, he was like, "Oh man, I was so upset when you said defense." He's like, "How are we going to sell a defense course? Nobody wants to learn defense. They want the cool things. They want what I'm going to do in my next course, which is going to be sweeps and throws. How do you catch kicks and dump people from the clinch? How do you off balance them using your knee against their knee? How do you wait until somebody throws a knee or a kick and catch them when they're on one leg?" He's like, "We want that stuff." And I said, "No, the area that people need the most help with is defense, because it's not cool. It's not sexy. And because of that, because of the lack of awesomeness behind it, most people don't want to train it." I mean, this is the area that most people need some help with. So I want to make my first course very valuable, something that a lot of people are going to benefit from. We might not have the big, massive numbers in sales that we might from something else that's much cooler, but that was what is important to me. So it took a while to get to this point, but we are here now. Tomorrow morning, the course is launching. There's links, YouTube. You guys can head over to my bio. You can get yourself registered. And tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, the videos are going to be dropped into your inbox. And then on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, we are doing our first live call. And we're going to have an hour together. I'm going to be most likely right here. And I'm going to be going through what are the questions right now, because I'm on my own. I see lots of people on there. I see somebody saying, is it live or pre-recorded? Good question. I have pre-recorded. It was initially supposed to be 20 videos. was going to be pre-recorded. That came and went very fast. I was at like 22 and then 25. And then I went, oh, I need to add alternative defense. So I think now we're up in high 20s, if not 30 pre-recorded videos. And then there are live calls, like actual live calls throughout this course where after you go through, you can join and you can ask your questions. And a lot of people from around the world, and we've had a lot of people join from around the world, not just in the US and Canada. A lot of people ask, well, that's great, you're doing live calls, but I'm going to miss it because I'm not in the same time zone as you. So simple, we are recording the live call, so anybody who misses it can go back and watch the whole thing. And most likely in 1 hour, whatever questions you guys had about defense will be asked there. People are going to be throwing out all sorts of questions, all sorts of complications they have. They might say, when I do this in the gym, this is what I struggle with. They might say, oh, you missed this little section in your course. I don't think I will. I've been pretty good about dialing in everything. But somebody just asked how many. I'm doing my best to watch both things here and hold my belt. So apologies if I'm missing your guys' questions. How many live calls would there be? As far as I know at the moment, there's going to be 3. First one this Thursday after the first thing launches, or the first section drops into the inbox. And then after that, I believe there's 2 weeks later where you will have access to 2 sections. So you'll have gone through why you're still scared. That'll be a section where we focus on how to deal with full power, how to acclimatize to, okay, the guy's drilling and he's going light, but now somebody's hitting me hard. How do I get used to that? Or shoot, I keep blinking. So we're going to get through that section, and then we're going to get through the building the defense, confidence section. So how do you start with, or how to prepare for when you do get hit? What happens when you do get hit? How do you prepare for that? Are there ways? We're going to touch on that. Building defensive confidence with single attacks and finding your favorite form, talking about stuff like that. Starting with single attacks, then moving into multiple attacks, the drilling that will go into that, the strategy. So once you guys have got through those 2, then we're going to do another live call. Then we're going to go a couple weeks later talking about increasing aggression and drills to master defense. Then we're going to do another live call. And if for some reason at the end we need another live call because I missed out on some videos, I'm going to go above and beyond and make sure I deliver. Make sure I deliver on this course. Somebody says there, yes, I did see Buakaw's latest win yesterday. I just put out a video today because I did a video the other day covering his win, and then somebody said, would you fight Buakaw? And I've said many times, I would fight Sanchai. I'm actually right now, been going on for the last month or so, trying to get a fight with Sanchai. And will I win the fight? I'll do my darn best. It's the same thing when I fought Lerdsila. A lot of people counted me out. Funny story about Lerdsila. I'll tell you guys right now, I know we're supposed to be talking about defense, but I'm going to get sidetracked. Funny story about fighting Lerdsila. My brother was down at a gym in Los Angeles at the time, Aaron, who corners me, and he was down at this gym, very Muay Thai oriented gym. They did everything with the hands bouncing, no boxing combos. And he was down there, and nobody really knew that he was my brother. And the fight got announced, and everybody's like, oh, Lerdsila. They all loved him. He's fighting Gabriel Varga. Nobody thought I was going to win that fight. And one of my brother's best buddies down there, who knew who I was and knew the game plan of the fight, he started taking bets at the gym, saying like this guy Gabriel Varga is going to beat Lerdsila. And then I met him a year later or something. He's like, dude, I cleaned up at that gym. And everybody, even defensive geniuses like Lerdsila, they can be beaten. You can break through defense if you have your own strong defense as well. Question right there. We're going to get a little off track off the defense course as well. That's fine. Somebody said, do I have any advice for a broken rib? Broken rib, I've had a dislocated rib in a fight before. Unpleasant. Let it heal. Don't aggravate it. I have not had the broken rib. I've heard it's awful. Healing, people tell me, the health professionals tell me I heal like Wolverine. Like they've actually said that. I go in, they're like, dude, how do you do this every time? We tell you it's going to be 8 weeks for recovery, and 3 weeks later you are back. What do I do for recovery? Right? What do I do when my defense fails and I get hit, or I hurt myself in some stupid way training. It's usually the stupid way in training. But what do I do for my defense? Number one, or sorry, not my defense. What do I do for my recovery when I'm injured? Number one, make sure that I don't continue to push myself and aggravate the injury. Number two, get my sleep on point. Sleep is when your body heals. Number three, take in some of the alternative methods for healing that a lot of people won't actually recommend. So now we want to make sure that we're doing things like red light therapy. We're doing things like ice baths. We're doing all sorts of supplements. And all of that are things that I've added in for the recovery, which have really helped me. If you have any physio things that you can do for a broken rib, probably with a bad broken rib is not early on physio that you can do. It's just more relaxing and recovery. But if you do have physio at some point, do it time and time and time again during the day. Not just like, oh, I did my physio exercises once and I'm done. No, you want to make sure that you're really giving that area a lot of love. Moving on, fight camp. Who's it for? Karate Combat. Will be for Karate Combat. I am scouting out alternative fights for the year as well. I do want to fight for Karate Combat. My goal is still to get that belt. But I do also want to make sure that I'm looking at other opportunities. Obviously, ONE FC is always there. K1 has just relaunched the whole thing. They're looking for North American fighters. I don't even care what I have to do to fight Sanjay. Like if they call me and say, dude, you have to fly yourself down to Thailand. You have to fight Muay Thai rules, which is not something that I'm an expert in. You have to do like I don't care. I'll fight that dude. Anywhere. Not because I think I'm going to go in and roll him. He is a legend. He has so much respect to that guy. I'm not going in with any sort of arrogance against him. Just because it's a fight that I should take. I should, right? I mean, I fought a couple Thai guys. I did a really good job against them. Sanchai, there's no downside to fighting him. I did something today, an episode about when I fight Buakaw. That's a different beast entirely. Not just a weight class difference, but the style of fighting they have. You can get in against Sanchai, and there's my mindset against Lerdsila. As long as I'm not stupid, as long as I don't drop my hands and get head kicked, he is not going to knock me out. I do not see massive danger in fighting Sanchai as long as my defense is on point. Buakaw, so many ways that he can hurt you. It's not like, oh, if I accidentally drop my hand for a second, I'm going to get a cartwheel kick or a little sneaky head kick. I have to watch for my body. I have to watch for him chopping my legs. I have to watch for him elbowing me in the head. I have to watch for him boxing me. Like, ooh, I would still fight him for the right amount of money. So yes, I did get a little bit sidetracked there. We were initially focusing on the defense course that is coming out tomorrow, letting you guys know that you can join. There are, I think at this point, what do we got? Less than 12 hours, 11 and a half hours left to join before the doors close. The doors are closing because I want everybody keeping up with the content. I don't want people falling behind in the content. I don't want somebody coming in the second or the third week saying, oh, I have questions about the first week. It's like, no, we've covered that. It's come and gone. And yeah, that's what we're going to be. That's what we're going to be doing over the next 5 weeks. People have been very concerned. People have been messaging me saying, oh, you have your defense course out. Does that mean that the YouTube content is going to drop off? I'll do my best to keep the YouTube content going. I really will. I really love doing the YouTube stuff. I love sharing what I've learned with you guys throughout the years. I get so many people. Somebody just asked me, I can only kind of see the comments there. So I'm not getting to people. I apologize. Somebody said, how tall am I? 5'10", 5'11", somewhere in there, which is pretty tall for the 145-pound weight class, which I normally fight at. But I have the YouTube content, which I want to push because I get people messaging me so often, like daily on here. I'll open up Instagram messages and people are like, dude, I just had my first fight. I got more help from you than I did my actual coach in my victory. I'm like, man, I don't want to stop assisting you guys. So I'm going to do my best to make sure that over the next 5 weeks, while I have training camp starting tomorrow, got to prep up for my fight. I have a whole bunch of personal stuff happening in my life. I have a course starting. I have my regular classes. Defense course is going to be taking a lot of time, so I'm still going to be here for everybody. Still going to be here pushing and making sure that you're still learning. Because yes, the defense or the course is going to cover the defense. It's going to cover it in a way that I couldn't really have on the channel. I don't see how I would have put out a video on defense for a whole month. Just I think people would have got like, ooh, why aren't you mixing it up? Why are you covering cool things? Actually, right after this, I'm going to film an episode on what happened in the UFC fight last night. You guys might know right away what I'm talking about. You might be like, oh, what happened? But I'm going to do that right after. So I'm keeping the content going. So yeah, overall, guys, Buakaw versus Manny Pacquiao, it was canceled. Somebody just said that's happening soon. Yeah, postponed or canceled. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to watching that. I didn't think Buakaw had much of a chance, but I would have 100% been there to watch that fight. I would have covered that on the channel so much. I would have done so many episodes. Yes, we are going to be doing last question. Then I'm going to jump off because I got other stuff to do today. I guess I can get rid of this belt. I just wanted this belt here because I was just like, guys, you think you win these belts without doing defense? Like I know people like are saying it's not cool, it's not sexy training defense. It's not stand there and just be like block head movement. It's not as fun. I recognize that, but I wanted this here just to highlight. Yeah, when you go in against, I don't know which one this one was here. This was, yeah, it's kind of cool. Look at the back here. It actually tells me, because I have two of these, right? So it actually tells me there, you guys can see, oh, that's too much light, where it was, what the title was, the date, all that kind of stuff is pretty cool. Somebody just commented, you should try sparring with the YouTubers for fun. I should, and I will. And it's on my list of things. I know all the videos that will help make the channel grow faster. I know going out and sparring with people and all that kind of stuff is fun. It's fun, and it'll get higher views. But at the same time, a lot of times I go, how am I going to assist people in those videos to get entertainment? And a lot of times I've gone with more the content, which is going to help people improve their skills. But I do need to get out there more, do some more vlogs, show myself at the gym, have some fun with episodes. So that is on my list of things to do this year. Different gloves. They make a massive difference. I have one full episode in the defense course where I talk about the differences that you really need to understand, what I've changed. If you are somebody on the channel who is going, yeah, I want to compete, but I'm thinking long term, I want to go the UFC route, the MMA route, which is a smart move, I'm going to say nowadays, right? Let me explain very quickly before I sign off what my mindset was when I first started my fight career and why I didn't go the MMA route and why I don't have regrets about that. I don't look back and go, oh, I blew it not doing it. But there is a small part of me that goes, it would have been smarter. And when I say smarter, I'm talking about two ways in particular. The two ways in particular to get the MMA route, get really good with these gloves, understand defense with this style of glove is, number one, you're going to get paid more, right? If you want to be a kickboxer, you might, like a lot of people message me a lot of the time and they're like, oh, Gabriel, you have one of these and you have a successful YouTube channel and yeah, you want to be a millionaire like you. Like, shoot, nobody told me that I was a millionaire. New news to me if it is. It's not a high-paying sport. You might think that winning those belts, being on TV, instantly gets you money. How much did I get paid for that fight? Under 10 grand. Under 10 grand to fight for the biggest kickboxing title in the world. Fortunately for me, it went up after winning that because there is a certain amount of prestige that comes with winning the glory belt, and that goes a long way. But number one, why I would go the MMA route is the financial, right? Unless you have another way to support yourself, you're not going to be making a lot of money when you fight for belts like that. Number two, notoriety, which again probably comes back to finances, but you do all the work, you put the hard work in. When I won that, I think maybe I had like 5,000 followers on Facebook or something. It maybe jumped up to like 6,000 after I won. So if you're looking from a logical standpoint on which route to go in a career, boxing, there's downsides to boxing, right? It takes a long time to get to the top. And I had people reach out, people from Manny Pacquiao's team, people who are part of his camp, reach out and say, do you want to come down and watch Pacquiao fight? I did get to go down. They brought me down to watch Manny Pacquiao fight in Dallas when he fought Antonio Margarito. I went down, I did some sparring with some of his sparring partners. They were, you should consider this route, the boxing route. And I went, it's a long, slow road. You got to kind of get like the 10, 12 and 0. And then you got to start fighting some really good guys after that point. Once you accomplish that, then you got to start fighting killers. You got to maintain that perfect record. So you're going to get a lot of money, but you got to do a lot before you get there. MMA, you can jump up very fast. It doesn't take the same amount of time to get into something like the UFC as it will to making money in boxing. You make a lot more money in boxing if you do really well. MMA, you can make good money, but UFC is big. And if, let's say in Canada, I was one of like the 10 guys who right now, or 10 people who are fighting for the UFC, you right away, you have a name. You do a decent job. You have a pretty darn good name in your country. You get in the top 5. You're doing awesome in life. Kickboxing, you can win titles like that. You can win this glory title. And I honestly got a lot more recognition from my YouTube channel than I did my fight career. I got a lot more recognition from the fact that I beat Lerdsila after Lerdsila became very popular than I did from winning this belt. This is like nice to have. It's good credibility to the channel. Like, look, I kind of know what I'm talking about. But if you are thinking about a fight career, you're a younger fighter, the MMA route is not bad to go. I didn't do it because I love kickboxing. My one goal was to fight in K1. I fought in K1. I fought Lerdsila. My dream was snatched away from me. It was such a high to a low. Beat Lerdsila. They're like, one more win, then you're going to fight for a K1 title. I'm like, oh, my dream come true. And then the promotion closed. All my years of work down the drain, felt like. And then, fortunately, Glory called me with an opportunity. And you guys know the story after that. But if you guys are wanting to have a big fight career, you're wanting to have an opportunity to climb ranks and in the process make money, it's going to be very hard in kickboxing. I'm not going to lie to you. You almost have to have a secondary career. I taught my entire career. I had my own programs where I taught kids. Do I regret not going to MMA? No, I don't regret it because in the end, I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish, but there's still the small part of me that goes, if I would have been not as successful as I was, but even partially as successful as I was in the kickboxing world, I would have a lot more money. I would have a lot more followers. I would have a lot more built up from the MMA career as opposed to what I have now, which I'm still very grateful for. And I'm still 100% happy with what I've accomplished. But you still sometimes look and go, what if? So I don't so much spend my time thinking about regret because I'm happy with what I've done, but I do like giving advice to other people and say, look, if you're 16, if you're 20, if you're 22, and you've had some good kickboxing fights, but you recognize how hard it is to get into Glory, and Glory just shut down their featherweight division anyway, right? Like, where do you go? You have to get to ONE FC now to even have a chance of getting a belt with a big promotion. ONE FC has their ups and downs. I've heard very good things. I've heard some not so good things. But still, if you can go and win a belt, that's awesome. So my advice to people nowadays is, try and go the UFC route. It's going to be far easier than, you become a UFC fighter, you are going to have your name, boom, right away. You become a ONE FC fighter, you're going to have to get very high up those ranks before you get some good notoriety. It's much easier to get into UFC than it is ONE FC as a North American. They don't take many people. UFC will take many people from North America. So, UFC fighter should be your goal. The defense course is going to have a section or a chapter where we cover what do you do with this glove versus this glove. They are very different. So there's so much to learn in this course. I know many people are still jumping on. Advice Or somebody's asking advice for a beginner who's afraid of getting knocked out and afraid of getting hit and hit over and over. That is the part of my course right here. That is section 2, why you're still scared. So in number 1, tomorrow we're going to go through the defense basics. I'm going to teach you basically like you're a beginner. Here's the blocks, here's the block options that you have for your punches. Next chapter, here's the block options, the slipping options you have for kicks and then knees. How many of you guys know how to stop a knee? If somebody from here is just charging in and boom, charging in and boom, and they're going distance, what would be your go-to? How would you stop that? What do you do when you got a killer who's trying to just crack your ribs? You got to know that stuff. After that, 10 common defense errors to avoid. Things that I can guarantee you that pretty much if I go into a gym, 50% of the people are going to be at least making 5 of these 10 common defense errors. A lot of times people don't know them until they're pointed out. And then you can start going, oh, as I throw my jab, am I making that little error? You don't know, you don't know. And then how to practice at home, how to practice with me on these defense basics. And once you're done that, then we move on to, okay, yeah, now you're still scared. There's a reason for that. Then we go into blinking, the do's and the don'ts. Next one, how do you deal with full power? Next one, how to protect the head and body at the same time. Next one, learn where to get hit, impact tips. You are going to get hit. So that when I get smashed, how do you actually still make sure that you don't have a broken rib? You're going to get kicked in the rib. What do you do to make sure it's not rib that takes the impact, it's something else? What adjustments can you make in a split second? These are all things which we're going to cover. And that's a big part of what a lot of people ask me. They're like, I know the defense basics. We're still doing a chapter on it because I'm not going to make a defense course and not cover defense basics. But we need to make sure that we, or you, understand why you're still scared after knowing the defense basics. So I think the chapter 2, which will come out not tomorrow, but next Monday, that's going to be a really good one. That's going to be a very important one for people. And then I'm going to add a video, which I think I'm going to film today for the course, because I felt like there's a little something missing still. Like I said, I want to cover everything. I don't want to look at this course and be like, oh, I'm missing something. So I'm going to do some at-home training drills. What can you do by yourself to stop you from being scared so that when you go to the gym next time, you have a little more confidence? I think that's an important thing to touch on, not something that many people will touch on for you. So, man, time flies. We've been going for half an hour. Lots to cover in this course. It is going down tomorrow morning, 6:30 p.m. Everybody who's registered is going to get the first number of videos dropped into your account. These videos are going to be yours forever. It's not like you're going to watch them once and they're going to disappear. On Thursday, we're going to have our first live call. I'm going to be there. I'm going to have my team in the background taking in all your questions, feeding the really, really good ones to me. I'm going to be monitoring as well. We're going to have it all slick, so it's looking good. And we get as much done in that hour as we can. And then if you can't make that, that'll also be dropped in your inbox. Or if you're kind of like, oh, I was there, but I missed some stuff. There's a lot of information. I can't remember it all. Still in your inbox. You'll have access to that forever. Of course, the link for Instagram in my bio, YouTube, right down in the description. And there are 11-ish hours left. And then it's closed. And unfortunately, no, you may not join over the next 5 weeks as we make our way through all the material. So I hope to see everybody there, everybody who's on, anybody who had little questions. Hope to see you there. I'll have to do another one of these again, one where I don't have 2 screens going at once and I can't really take in the questions because I see some great questions coming in on YouTube, but unfortunately I can't really see it because I placed the camera right there, Instagram, so I only see the top ones. But yeah, we're getting started, and I can do these more often if people like. I'll look back. It looks like there's just been lots of good action the whole time, which I'm pumped about. So yeah, we'll do this again. I think maybe one time we'll do one of these at the gym. I think that would be cool. Jump in with my brother, have this rolling, take some questions, see what you guys want to talk about. Have somebody there just feeding me the questions as they're coming through because I can't always see everything. So 6:30 tomorrow, guys. Defense course is popping out. Not subscription based. It's not this base. It's just you pay, you have access to it for life, and that's the way I wanted to do it. That's the way I'm a fan of doing things in life, not stringing people along for a whole bunch of stuff. So get on board, get joined, find out how to improve your defense, how I went about without a coach winning one of these. Hard thing to do. I know a lot of people don't really realize that, but without a coach, somebody teaching me all the defense stuff, I had to really learn what are the drills that I'm going to do that are going to take me to the level where you can actually win one of these with your own training. Hard stuff to do. It's all hard. But anything you want to be good at is going to be hard, right? You want to be good at this sport, kickboxing, any martial art. It's going to take time. You're going to have to do the things which you don't want as much. We have this sign up at one of the gyms that says the reps you don't want to do are the ones you need to do. And it's kind of similar. The stuff that you don't want to do at the kickboxing gym is the stuff you really need to do. And a lot of times I don't do it as well because I'm like, yeah, I don't like that part of training. But the defense is not as cool. It's not, they don't get a lot of cardio aspect from it. So a lot of times people don't want to push it. They want to be there for activity. But guess what? At the end of the day, cardio makes a mad difference. Save my hiney a number of times in fights, having some solid defense to hide behind. So let's call it, everybody. Thanks for joining me. We're going to get back to creating some content for tomorrow, making sure that the course is all set to go for tomorrow morning. And thanks for everybody who was on here. We'll do it again. We'll do it again when I got a little bit more support and I'm not jumping around from spot to spot. So awesome, guys. Chat again with you soon. Turn this sucker off. You guys can just bear with me here.